So this is speed runs, okay? So we're gonna start with the first one. Nothing hard about 1A part 1 here. 4 over 7 divided by 12 as a single fraction in its lowest term. Right? 4 over 7 divided by 12 would give me 1 over 21. Talk done. Right? Part B. Let's do B one time. They said calculate the difference in the value of the underlying digits in the number below, right? So these are number bases. So what you have to understand here is how to change something that is in another base to base 10, right? So let me work here. You have 3201. Understand I didn't say 3201, 3201 in base 4, right? 3201 in base 4. Now, if you were in base 10, this would have been in expanded notation. It would have been 3 multiplied by 10 to the power of 3, right? Okay, because this is ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. Your thousands value would have been, it's like 10 to the power of 3, which is 1000, right? So we use that same concept when we are dealing with number bases, right? It's just we don't use 10. The 10 represents the base that you are in. We are in base 4, so it'll be 4 to the third power. Everybody good there? And then we'll have plus 2 multiplied by 4 to the second power. Cool? Then 0 plus, I'm going to put a 0 even though it would work out to be 0. 0 multiplied by 4 to the power of 1 plus 1 multiplied by 4 to the power of 0. So we have 6351 in base 7, right? So this will be in base 7. So this would have been 6 multiplied by 7 to the what power? 6 multiplied by 7 to the power of 3. Understand it, Plus 3 multiplied by 7 to the power of 2 plus 5 multiplied by 7 to the power of 1. And then 1 multiplied by 7 to the power of 0. Okay? 0. So, what are we focusing on here? Right? So, I'm going to move this now. This was just to show you all what it would have been in the denary system, right? So, what are we focusing on now? I'm going to highlight them. I'm focusing on this working here, which will be the value of 3 that would have been underlined in this digit here. And then we are focusing on this bad boy here. So give me the value of each one of those separately, and that would be, well, the value of each one of them. Okay? What we get for this one here? 192? 192 would be the value here. And then what would be the value here?
147.
147. So do you all remember what the word difference means? Difference means to take away. They ask the difference of the two values. So this would be 192 minus 147, which will give me what? 45? Okay? By writing each number in the fraction below correct to one significant figure, find an integer estimate for the value of this, right? Let me see if I can squeeze this right here. So each number to one significant figure, the first digit is already to one significant figure. You all saw that? How would I write 87 to one significant figure? Let me hear you all. So this will be minus 90 all over 29.6 to one significant figure. 30. Hey, I just want to point to something, right? If I have 87.04, the first significant figure would be the first digit counting from the left, right? So this would be the first non-zero digit counting from the left. So the first non-zero digit here would be 8. You have a lock off after that 8. Is the number after 8 greater than or equal to 5? Yeah. So you have to add 1 here. That is where we get the 9 from. But then everything after the lockoff supposed to change to a 0. So it's supposed to be 7, supposed to become 0, and the numbers after the point irrelevant if they are zeros. Cool? Right? And then 29, you have 29.6. What is the first significant figure here? 2. Lock off. What is the number after the lock off? Is it 5 or greater? So you add 1 here, right? So 2 plus 1 will give me 3, and then you have to put a 0. The 6 will change to a 0 also, but you don't need to put in that 6, right? So can we calculate this, please? Did they say to find an integer estimate for the value, right? So minus the top here divided by the bottom and 10. What you get to? 70? What? Oh, that was 70. 17, right? Flat, right? 2 marks in the bag. Okay? Right. So Alana and Brentnall share 17,400 in the ratio Alana to Brentnall equals 8 to 7, right? How many parts does Alana have? Everybody seen that? Bro, you seen that? 8 parts, right? The first, it's an order. So the first number would be Alana, the second number would be Brentnall, right? Show that Alana receives 9,280, right? So we go in here. So 9, this is part what, boy? This is C part 1. So Alana is we trying to work out for, right? So Alana is unknown. How many parts do we have in total? Let's put our total parts. Total parts would be how much? It would be 8 plus 7, which would be 13 parts, right? So that 13 parts would be equal to the total amount of money that needs to be shared. Right? But, so we say 13. Me even not work it out, you know. 15, right? So this would be equal to the total amount of money that needs to be shared, right? Now, if I said this amount of money represented Brentnall, what would be equal to 17,400? If I said this was Brentnall alone, what would be equal to that 7,400? Huh? 15 still? If I said Brentnall alone, 7, right? If I said Alana alone received 17,400, 8 parts would be equal to 17,400, right? So this will be, so I can put here now, therefore, 15 parts would be equal to 17,400. So how much one part would be? 17,400 divided by 15, which will give me what? 1,160. Right? So we want for Alana. We going back up here now. What we doing for Alana? How much parts represent Alana? If one part represents, this is one part, So one part is represented by 1,160. How much parts did Alana get? 8. So 8 by 1,160 would give me, how much money Big Gil get? 9,000. And that's what the axis is show, right? Shown. Okay? Everybody good there? So Alana invests her share of money into a business venture, right? Earning simple interest at a rate of 4.5 per annum, she receives 2,088 in interest, right? This is her interest. Determine the number of years that she invests her money, right? Simple interest, let me call it interest, right? Simple interest, SI, let me put the SI, is equal to what? Hit me. Principal by rate by time over 100. Once you remember this formula, you can get a formula for time, you can get a formula for rate, you can get a formula for principal if any one of those are required, right? Changing the subject of the formula. They want us to find the number of years, which will be what? Number of years is? Let me move around some stuff now. What we moving here? When you move the 100 here, what we doing with it? right? So 100 SI, or 100 multiplied by simple interest, is equal to principal by rate by time, right? Now we want to find time. How do we move next? PR. When PR comes here, what do we do with it? Because it's being multiplied on the right. So 100 multiplied by simple interest would be, well, over PR would be equal to my time. So do we have all these things here? Let me see what we have. We have a simple interest which is equal to 2088. We have her principal. What's her principal? Let me hear earlier. Why is it the 9,280? That's what she received. That's what she would be investing, right? Okay, so let me go. So this would be 9,280, right? And what is my rate? What is R? 4.5. Everybody seen that? Hey, all you need to speak up, you know. All you need to speak up. Exam is in a few weeks, right? Rate is equal to 4.5, right? So let me go. We want to find our, this is 4.5%, right? We don't need to put the percent in because we don't cater for the percent already with the formula, right? So let me go. Come in my classes so well. Right, let me go. Yeah, no problem. So therefore, time would be equal to 100 multiplied by, what's the simple interest? 2088 divided by principal. What's the principal? Come on, I want to hear all you know. Multiply by, what is the rate? Could you all work out this, please? Work out the top 5 years again, flat. So
5 years.
time would be equal to 5 years. All right. Points to note, you have to work out the top, work out the bottom, and then divide your answers. Are we clear? Right? So this is June 2025, A1. Using a calculator, most important thing here, using a calculator or otherwise, evaluate each of the following given your answers in exact form, right? So hit me here. Up, all right, in this 3 over 2 squared would actually be 9 over 4. So 9 over 4 minus 1 plus 6 gives me what? 7.25. They say exact formula, so it's exactly 7.25. Right. Next one. 2.1 multiplied by 10 over 7 give me what? 3 exact? Yeah. And then when you work this out, what do you get on your calculator? 10.5 exact, right? Somebody second that now. So Miranda earns 8,316 per month. She spends 4/7 of her earnings on utility bills, food, and personal items and saves the remainder. What percentage of her monthly salary does she save? What percentage? Could we find the fraction of her monthly salary that she saves? How do we find the fraction? Huh? What fraction of her monthly salary she saves?
3/7.
3/7. You all seen that? Right now there are different ways to do this. I don't see like some other probably use a different method, right? So it will be 1 minus 4 over 7, which should be 3 over 7, right? So 3/7 of her monthly salary is saved. But what did they ask us? So I can put 3/7 of monthly. I just put in, you don't need to put all these things. I'm just trying to give the question perspective for you all, right? 3/7 of monthly salary. Okay? So, what percentage of her salary did she save? How would I calculate that? Huh?
3/7 by 100.
Thank you. How much is working out to be? So this will be, what you got? 42 point what? Give me to one decimal please. 42.9%. Okay? Everybody good there? I calculated what fraction of her monthly salary was saved, and I just multiplied by 100 to find the percentage saved, right? Now, they gave us a piece of information above here. We didn't use it in part 1. So let's see if it's going to be used in part 2. The portion of her earnings spent on utility bills, food, and personal items, that's this bad boy here, right, is divided into the ratio 5 to 3 to 4. Let me ask some questions. How many parts represents utility bills?
5.
5. Thank you. How many parts represents food? How many parts represents personal items? So they said calculate the amount of money she spends on personal items. So you basically need to find out how much one part is. I tell her the part's solid. Once you use parts, it's solid, right? So all these parts will be equal to how much money. They gave us that in the first part there. No, this is how much she earns per month, right? Okay, so we need to find out 4/7 of this to find out how much she's spending on this. Okay, so let's find out the amount of money spent on utility bills, food, and personal items, right? So amount spent on utility bills, food, and personal items. That will be equal to 4/7 multiplied by her monthly earnings. 8316. What y'all getting there?
4752.
I had 4752 and I had 3000 something. 4752. Right? So would all these parts added together be equal to 4752? Yes, look, this is what this represents. Utility bills, food, and personal items is represented by 4/7. She spent 4/7 of her earnings on these things, right? You see that, Andrew?
Yeah.
4/7 of her earnings was spent on these things. So I spent $4,752 on these three things. 1, 2, 3. Everybody good there? Right? So let's work. So therefore, total parts, right? I tell you, parts is the most solid way to work out ratios, right? Total parts would be equal to 5 plus 3 plus 4, which will give me how much parts? That's 10 parts? 12, sorry. 12 parts. Right, 12 parts. Which means that 12 parts would be equal to 4752, right? So how much one part would be? Alright, so this will be 47 divided by 12. How much this?
396.
396. Somebody second that. So 396 is one part, right? So what did they ask us to find? They asked us to find out the amount spent on personal items. How many parts represent personal items up there? 4. So therefore, yep, 4 parts would be equal to 396 multiplied by 4, which will give me what? Hit me.
1584.
15 what? Okay, so this is personal items, right? So I can put personal items. Okay, is equal to that. I'm gonna just read the question for the recording. Remember, I'm recording it on this laptop. Right? So Miranda saves the same amount of money each month. Show that her annual savings from her earnings would be 42,768. So we need to find Big Girl's savings, right? So her savings would be equal to 3/7 was the fraction of her monthly salary that she saved. So it was 3/7 of what? So how much she saved? Well, then now start to make me feel a little alive here, man. When there's only one person that said, hey, since I teaching for the years, only Andrew understand me, you know. Oh God, you too. You and Andrew. Right, so let me go. Savings, right? That's how much she's savings. This is how much she's saving per what? Per month. What did the question ask? Annual. Annual means what? Annual savings. What are you multiplying this bad boy by? Proper. Much again? And again, the number 42768. Parallel box to indicate that it was. So she invests 42,768 in her credit union, which pays compound interest at 5% per, per annum, right? What is the total interest? Now, this is a very tricky part here. What is the total interest earned after 2 years, right? They did not ask us for the total amount of money she earned, right? What is the total interest she earned, right? This formula here, given by CSEC, calculates the total amount, right? The final amount, aka total amount, right? So your final amount, which is the total amount when principal P is invested at a compound interest rate R, we call it the interest rate R, for n years, it's given by this, right? So basically, what I'm going to calculate when I work out this will be my total amount. I will call it TA. Your total amount will be equal to what is my principal? How much did I invest? 42,768. Sometime I will ask you all the most trivial questions, which are obvious. It's just to find out if you all are paying attention, right? So open brackets. 1 plus what is my rate? What is R? 5 over 100 to the power of n, which represents years, right? What will be n for this question? 2 years, right? When you punch that in on your calculator, how much did she earn after 2 years? What's the total amount of money that she has in her account? Right? That's not the interest she earned there. This is just the total amount in the account after 2 years. How much we getting? 0.72 to 2 decimal places, right? Okay? Somebody had a second listener. Is this what the question asked? No. They asked us for the total interest. So I could just put therefore the interest would be equal to what? What am I minusing from what to find my interest? How much did my money invested grow by? How much did it grow by? How do I calculate that? Take it away. Proper. So it'll be 47151.72. Take away which amount though? Right, how much you invest? 42,768. How much money did in interest did she earn?
4,383.72.
Second answer.
Proper. So, using a calculator or otherwise, determine the value of 2/3 of. What does the word of mean to do? Multiply. Stick that in your head one time. So, 2/3 of this whole thing in the bracket here, giving your answer in exact form, right? So, I'm going to rewrite this as 2/3 multiplied by, and give me the calculation for the brackets. What you all got when you calculated the brackets?
They give 4 and 7 over 8.
4 and 7 over 8. What you get?
I get 31 over 8.
31 over 8, right? 8 fours are what? 32? 32 and 7. Check over that. Somebody second this all again?
I still get
31. Yeah, 31 over 8 is 3 and 7 over 8.
So I got to check over it.
Yeah, check over that. It's 3 and 7 over 8, right? So 3 multiplied by 8 will give me what? 8 3 is 24. 24 plus 7. 31 over 8. That's what everybody see on their calculator, right? And then when we work out this, what we getting? 2 marks in the bag.
You want that side of someone?
Exact form I wanted, brother. So give it as a fraction, if you could. What you're getting as a fraction? Wow. Right. So 2 and 7 over 12, courtesy Thomas and Sanka. 2 and 7 over 12, you all said, right? 2 people said that. Somebody third and fourth that. So 314.2 divided by this whole bad boy here. And they want you to give your answer in standard form. So let me find the people answer first, right? Here I want you to do 314.2 minus what? What do I get when I divide this? Or you want to give me answer one time? Give me the answer straight. Because it would be 1 mark for the answer here, right? And then 1 mark to write it in standard form, right? So what you could do, you put 314.2 minus, and then you put an open bracket. You put this number divided by this number, and then you close your bracket. Press equal and give me my full answer here. 313 flat, right? So to write this in standard form, your what? Okay. So you have to write this in standard form now, right? So you want to move this decimal point so that it goes to the right of the first significant figure, right? So this here is my first significant figure, right? So I'm gonna get 3.137 multiplied by 10 to the power of how many times did I move my point? 2, right? Points to note, if you're moving your point to the left, it's a positive power. If you're moving your point to the right, it's a negative power. Nah, standard form, you're writing this whole thing in standard form. This is the entire decimal there in standard form, right? Don't approximate it. They did not ask us to approximate it anyway. Well, like to approximate a 1 decimal place or any kind of thing, so right? Cool. So we are on to June 2024, number 1, part 1E, right? Calculate the value of the square root of 7.1 squared plus 2.9 squared, given your answer correct to 2 significant figures, right? Now I want to find the exact value first, right? So let me put here the exact value, right? Square root of 7.1 squared plus 2.9 squared, right? So point to note, when you're working on this, you put your square root sign, but you had to put like another bracket on the outside here. Y'all did that? You need to put, so you put square root, then you open a bracket, then you put these 2 brackets for your squared, plus put these 2 brackets for your squared, and then close the first bracket here. Because you want the square root of all of that. And when you work out that, give me the exact value here, and then we'll write it to 2 significant figures. 58.82 is what Sanka said. Anybody got that? This looking correct to me. Right. So the square root, it will be the square root of this, which will be
7.669.
669. I put the whole thing, right? 7.669. This is the exact answer. Sometimes CXC asks you for the exact answer. This is what you give them if they ask that, right? Now, to 2 significant figures, let me work. Right? This will be equal to my second significant figure will be this 6 here, right? Okay? So, what is the number after the 6? Is that 6 5 or greater? So do we add 1 to this original 6? Right? So you're adding 1 here. So you add 1. This would now become 7.7 to 2 significant figures. How we cooking? Cooking with gas. Right? Same number. I'm going to write back the same number here. 7.669 to 2 decimal places, right? Which number here is representing the second decimal place? This 6, right? Is the number after that 6 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So that means you have to add 1. So this will become 7.67 to 2 decimal places. How we looking? Write the following quantities in ascending order. So you could choose to write these as decimals, or you could choose to write them as percentages, right? Whichever route you take, you will get the same answer. So I will go decimals, right? I would just do 12 divided by 25. What would that give you? 25 by 25 is what? 0.48, right? Gosh, why this thing too big? That's so. It's because I zoom in, you know. Right? Right. Then I still add the 0.46 here. And what the last one will be? 0.47, because our decimal will be 47 over 100, right? Now you have these things, they want to write them in ascending order. Ascending order means what to what? Lowest to highest, right? So this would be 0.46, you're writing them in their original form, right? Then you have 47%, and then you have 12 over 25. Everybody good there? Mahindra and Jaya shared 7,224 in the ratio 7 to 5. How much more money does Mahindra receive than Jaya? So in order to find out how much more money, two things I need to find out. I need to find out how much one part is, and I need to find out how much more parts does Mahindra get. Right? Two things you need to find out. So if I find out how much one part is now, so I think we be on this, right? Total parts, right? Total parts will be how much? 12. So there'll be 12 parts would be equal to what? 7,224. So how much one part would be? 7,224 divided by 12, which will give me 602, right? Proper. That's one part, right? Now let me find out how many more parts does Mahindra get, right? So I'll just put more parts, right? How much that will be? How much? How much more parts? 2. Excellent, right? It'll be 7 minus 5, which will be 2 parts. 2 parts more she got. So therefore, Mahindra. Now, I'm not going to put Mahindra. That'll be too much to write. That's another thing. Hey, all of that time to write all these long statements, eh? So I'll put more money. Because the question asks how much more money did she get. So more money would be equal to 2 multiplied by 602, which will give me what? 1,000? No, I don't see it on your face. Some only went and split the money and then minus the money. I seen it on your face.
Sir, here are two cameras and grill delay.
1204? Right. Next one. The present population of Portmount is 550,000. It is expected that this population would increase by 42%, increase by 42% by the year 2030, right? Write this number in standard form. Where's my decimal point understood to be in this number here? Behind, right? So there we go. We're trying to get into the right of the first decimal place, first significant figure. Which number is the first significant figure here? It would be this 5, right? This is your first significant figure. So we jump in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We good there? This is the new spot for your decimal point, right? Standard form is the only approximation where your decimal point is actually moving, right? So this will be 5.5, and I don't need to put all these zeros here, right? That will be redundant, right? You can leave it out. It is understood, right? And I multiply this by 10 to the power of how many times do I move my point here? 5, proper. And this will be equal to, no, this will be equal to nothing. That is standard form. That is standard form. 1 mark in the bag, right? So let me go. Calculate the expected population of Portmount in 2013, right? 2030. How much percent did they say go up by? 42. So in reality, the new percentage or the new population would be how much percent? It will actually be 142%. So I can do 142% of 550,000, right? Everybody clear there? It increase, or the other way you could do is find 42% of 5,500 and then add it, right? Or you could just jump and do it here one time, right? So 42% of 5,500 would just be, not 42, sorry, 142 over 100 multiplied by 550,000. How much that would be? 78100. In exam, I wouldn't even write this line. You could just jump straight into this. Right? You jump straight into this. You know it's going up by 142%. You just multiply by. Right. So you know it's going up by 42%. 142 for 100 multiplied by 5,500. What you get there again? 7 more? 000. Top done. Alright, there we go. So we converting the diagram below can be used to convert between United States dollars and Eastern Caribbean dollars, right? So this graph basically gives me my conversion. So if you're talking about 2 US dollars to EC, I could go to 2 here, go across here, boom, bang, right? That looking like in between here, boy. That looking like 530. That looking like 530 to me, right? In between here. You know, I ain't got the autocorrect, right? I get in 530. Okay, so 2 US would be 530 EC. That's what I'm getting from the graph, right? No, this is 5.2 and this is 5.4, not 5.3, right? 5.3 be in between here. Now, if this was 5.2 and this was 5.3, then in between would be 5.25, right? So we go in here. This conversion would be EC 530, right? So we want to convert EC $70 to US, right? So this is like 2 US, right, is equal to EC 530. So much 1 US would be? We could just do it from this here. So when, I could just put when, we don't even want to go back to the table, right? When US $2 is equal to EC 530 divide by 2 now and find for US $1. US $1 would be 2 EC 265, right? So therefore, EC $70, right? So we go from EC back to US. So what we doing? Multiplying or dividing? Divide, proper. So this will be 70 divided by 265. How much US we getting? This is US.
31.1.
$31.10. No. So again, yeah? 26 point.
I could go 4-2.
26.42. Now let me tell you something. In an exam, right? In an exam, bro, I'll call you when I'm done, right? Hey, right? Stay there. As I done lessons, I'll come up the road. Our students in front of me. I'm a cousin from Manhattan. I'll call you back. Loving yours, bro. So that's a real. Right.
Sir, I know it's a different way, sir.
Right. I want to show you something, right? The last time I did this question, I am telling you all, the last time I did this question, when I pulled that graph, that line up there, I got right. I came down on this line, but I just want to show you all something, right? I came down on this line. I came down on $5.40. But look at how in real time it looked like $5.30. So, in my opinion, not in January 2024, number 1A, expressed as a single fraction in its simplest form, CXC proceeded to give 2 marks to this question, so we're going to give them the bracket, right? What do you get when you work out that bracket? 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15 is 3 over 10. And then when you calculate your final answer, what would you get? 7 over 10, right? Now, I find this so objective, right? Because this is simplest form, right? Simplest form could be a fraction or it could be in decimal, right? Doesn't matter which one, you'll get a mark, right? So there we go. 2-story car park has a total of 1,020 parking spaces, right? At 0630 hours one morning, 1/30th of this was filled, right? So take note of that, right? 1/30th of the car park was filled. During the next hour, no cars left, but another 4/5 of this car park was filled, right? Okay? Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled by 0730 hours, right? Point to note, the time here is irrelevant to what they're asking. You all realize that? The time is irrelevant, right? And I don't know why CXC does do these things and put these things to confuse trend, right? But locking, right? So 1/30 of that was filled. First, no cars left. For come in. Hey, you really tell me I was coming late. But it's real late, boy, bro. We finished it just now. Problem is the transporter. So there you go. 1/30 out of this, the spaces were filled. What y'all do? You add the 1/30 to the 4/15th and then find that fraction of the 1/20, or you can find 1/30 out of 1020, 4/15ths of 1020, and then add them together, right? Whichever route you take, no problem, right? So I'm gonna find the fraction, right? So it'll be 1/30 plus, wait now, this follows from the question above.
Yeah. Yes, I have.
You'll realize that?
What?
So this will be 7/10. 3/10, sorry. So it follows from the question above. So this will be 3/10. So 3/10 of the car park was filled. So that means 7/10 of the car park was empty. So I can just put therefore 7/10, because I done work out above, multiplied by, what's up equal? Multiplied by 1020 would be equal to 714 spaces.
Like a good week on spaces.
Right. Okay, but this is the amount of spaces that were not filled. Of the 1020 parking spaces, 20% are on the top level. How many parking spaces are on the top level? What kind of easy shippiness is this? 20% of the parking spaces are on the top level. How much would it be? 204. I give all it too much time there, boy. Anyway, I give all the time, eh? Right, I give all 1 minute. So part D, some of the spaces are reserved for monthly paying customers. The ratio of reserved spaces to non-reserved spaces is 5:7, right? Calculate the number of non-reserved spaces. So how many parts do we have in total? How many parts? 12. So that 12 parts would be equal to 1020, right? So one part would be what? 1020 divided by 12, which is 85. But they asked us a non-reserved. How many parts represents non-reserved? Non-reserved. Right? So non-reserved would be equal to 7 multiplied by 85, which will give me how much? How much? 595 spaces. Right? Let's go. The cost for parking at the car park is shown in the table below, right? So under 30 minutes free, more than 30 minutes, and up to 2 hours, 2 hours to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 24, 1 week ticket, right? So Michaelia leaves the car park at 18:30 hours and pays 9:22. Determine the earliest possible time that she could have arrived at the car park, right? So if she paid 9:25, we in this column, right? So it'll be 4 to 8 hours. So what's the maximum time she could have spent there? 8. So I will do 18:30 minus 8. I'll just put 0 here, right? The 8. And how much? At what time did she reach? 10. 10. Oh, I ain't see the 30 there, boy. Sorry. 30. Right? 10:30 hours. Right? Okay? Remember, we in 24-hour, only 24-hour clock here, right? That's the earliest time she could have arrived. So Dan Raj bought a weekly parking ticket for $40. That week, he visited the car park 5 different times. The length of time he parked his car on each occasion is given below, right? So 25 minutes, 7.5 hours, 11 hours, 8.75 hours and 8 hours. Shows that Dan Raj saved $8.50 by buying a weekly ticket. So we know that the weekly ticket was how much? Was $40? $40 for the weekly ticket. So we want to show that he's saving $8.50 if he does go this route, right? Now let's write the amounts up here. For 25 minutes or so, free. 7.5 hours. 9.25, right? 11 hours. 15 flat. 8.75 hours. 15. 8 hours. 9.25. Right? So what we doing? We adding all these bad boys, right? Plus, 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 right? So how much would he have to pay if he was paying singly? 48.50. So you seen it there already? 48.50, right? So therefore, Dan Raj saved 48.50 minus $40, which should be 8.50. 8.50. Right? Box shown. Okay? Right? And I'm giving all you 30 seconds extra. So, hey, 2 marks here. Get CXC something, eh? What's the first thing you have to do here? You realize we have to multiply before we do anything else here, right? So this will be equal to 5 over 6 plus 2/3 minus what? 4 over 15. Remember, we're trying to get marks here. So this will be equal to what? What's my final answer? 1 and 7 over 30. Right? CXC will give you a mark for this and a mark for this, right? So there we go. Next one. Calculate the value correct to 3 decimal places, right? Now, same thing you had to do here, guys, like what we did for our question earlier. It's like you put square root, then you put open brackets, punch in all this, close the brackets, then square root it. Why again? 0. Give me the full answer before we do the decimal places. 0.362 22, right? Right. I'm going to go to 3 decimal places. So which number represents the 3rd decimal place here? The 2 is the number after that 2 greater than or equal to 5? No. So we're not adding 1. So this will be 0.362 to 3 decimal places. Right? 2 marks in the bar. I wanted the final answer. I thought this was the final answer. No, well, just now. Here what we have to do here, if this is not the final answer. Talk to me.
0.6012.
Before the square root? Right, so after you square rooted, right? Let me put back what Big Bro had there, right? I can put back what Big Bro gave me there, right? Alright, so watch it. I could do this. I could just put the square root of this, right? This is what you got when you work out the underneath, right? Square root of that. Square root of that will be equal to what you got there? 0.6018123. Right. Hit me to 2 decimal places now. 3 decimal places, sorry. So it will be this, right? So it will be 0.602. Because you have to add 1 here. Right? Because this is an 8. And this will be to 3 decimal places. Proper thing, right? You're writing this in standard form. Where is the first significant figure? 5. Right? So we're trying to get to the right of that first significant figure with this decimal point. So you're going 1, 2, 3. So this will become 5.27 multiplied by 10 to the power of how many times did I move my point? 3. If I'm moving to the right, the power would be negative. Right? That was our food question, right? Hey, it's just these 2 and we're done. So I want to give all you some time to try. It's 4 marks to this. I'll give you all 2 minutes, right? Harris works at a call center for 35 hours each week. He is paid at an hourly rate of $11.20. Calculate the amount of money Harris earns in a 4-week month, right? So how much he making per? I could just work out that one time, you know. Right? So let me just put money earned, right? Money earned. I gotta do this in one weekend, right? So money earned for the month. I could do for the month one time, right? For month will be equal to 35 multiplied by 1120 multiplied by 4. Right? Because it's for 4 weeks, right? And how much this works out to be? 1,500 and right, boom. Then 5 and 16. 68. Yeah, that dog food. Or if you want to, you could have calculated for 1 week and then just multiply by 4, right? It's okay. Right, so let me go. In a certain week, Harris works 8 hours overtime, right? Overtime hours are paid at time and a half, the usual rate of 11.20 per hour. Find the total amount of money Harris is paid for that particular week, right? So he's paid overtime at what? Overtime would be time and a half. You all know what time and a half is? So this is the overtime. Let me call it OT, hourly. Overtime hourly rate. That's what I'm trying to find out, right? So overtime will be what multiplied by the original hourly rate? 1.5, right? Lock that in there. Time and a half is 1.5 multiplied by the original hourly rate. If it's double time, what it would have been? 2 multiplied by the original hourly rate, right? If it was triple time, you all know what to do, right? So 1.5 multiplied by 11.20, $16.80, right? That's for 1 hour overtime, right? But how much he make? So OT wage, we could call this OT wage, right? This will be equal to 8 multiplied by 16.80, which will give me what? $34 and 134. Yeah. I mean, even what's the question? Right? $134.40, right? 134.40, right? $134.40. Is that what the question asked? No, they want the total amount. So the total amount earned in that week. His weekly wage was what? Was 35 multiplied. I didn't calculate it in the first part, so let's put the calculation here, right? 1120 and plus 134.40. This is working, right? And what is to be equal to? What's the total amount he earned for that particular week? 702, 702. And how much cents? Somebody second this. So this is wrong, right? Because I realized it wrong when everybody get quiet. From the time I hear people get quiet and then answer, and I know something wrong, right? So what's the correct answer here? 526.40. So by rounding each number in the expression below to one significant figure. So every single number that is present, you're rounding it to one significant figure and you're going to estimate the value of whatever the answer is, right? Now, somebody give me the square root of 108. What is the square root of 108? It's 2 marks, so you have to write this line, 10 point what? 10.39. So to one significant figure, we could write it one time, right? So let me put it here. Square root of 108 is equal to 10.39. So 10.39 to one significant figure will just be 10 divided by 19.72 to one significant figure, right? The first significant figure is 19.72. This is the first significant figure. The number after that is 5 or greater, so we're going to add 1. So this will become 20, right? Plus 5.296 to one significant figure would simply be 5. So this will be equal to 10 over 25, which could be broken down to be what? 2/5? Right? 2 marks in the bag, right? 3 and 3 is divided by 3 over 4. So when you work out the brackets, you get 3 over 4. You must put this work in here, right? And then that will be equal to what when we work it out? 4.5, right? Okay? Now, due to COVID-19 pandemic, the number of available seats in a hall will reduce from 125 to 93. Calculate the percentage decrease in the number of available seats, right? So if it go, let's find out how much it decreased by, right? So this will be the decrease. The decrease would be equal to 125 minus 93, which will be how much? How much did it decrease by? 32 seats, right? Now, if I want to find the percentage decrease, right? Meaning how much percentage went down by, it will be what it decreased by over which amount? The 125 or the 93? It will always be over the initial amount, right, Yuvraj? Always over the initial amount. And multiply by 100 over 1. How much is the percentage decrease? 25.6%, right? Micah invests a certain amount of money in a bank that pays compound interest at a rate of 2.5 per annum, right? So I already know that my rate would be 2.5. That's right, and on the information I am given. At the end of 2 years, now for this question, they are calling years N, right? So N is the number of years the money was invested. So what would N be equal to? 2. And the value of her investment is that. The value of her investment. Oh, so this is actually the total amount. So A is equal to 756450. I hope you all realize that this was not P, eh? This was not P, right? So if the formula is total amount is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. They want you to calculate the amount Micah invests, aka my principal. You all realize that? Principal. So P is the unknown here. Changing subject of the formula is what is going to happen here, right? But let's plug in stuff. Come in, 7564. What's up, bro? $50 is equal to P is unknown by 1 plus 2.5 over 100 to the power of 2, right? So what I want you all to do, somebody work out this for me. I'm putting it in red. Work out this. Well, you're supposed to have it already. Some of you, you're working out this. And whatever you get, what you do with it? Divide it on the next side. Proper thing. I'm going to show you all why, eh? So we're working out this. And then whatever you get, you are going to divide it on this side, right? So, hit me.
1.05.
So it will be 756450 divided by who?
1.05.
1.05. Everybody good there? You've right together? And this will be equal to my principal. So we come in right on the side here. So therefore my principal will be equal to
7,204.29.
and 29 cents, right? Okay? $7,204.29. So when you actually divide by the full number you get when you work out this, right? Meaning that you're not approximating it. You are actually getting 7,200, which I feel like that's the proper answer. Yeah. That had to be the correct answer.
Maybe we had around and off the 3 decimal.
Right, we round off to 3 decimal places, right? So 7,200, okay? Right, so we on to June 2022, number 1, right? So we have 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6 divided by 2, right? That's giving me a straight answer because this is a 1-mark question. What y'all get here? 13 over 8, somebody second us, right? 13 over 8 or 1.625, which is 1 and 5 over 8, right? Or if you have 1.625 again, your marks too, eh? Right. So next one, 8 divided by 0.4 to the third power. Where again here? 125. Right, 125. That done. Talk done there. Now this one here, right? I'm sure that there are some people that get problems with this one for the 3 over 2 power, right? So what I want you to do, you go on your calculator, you press this knob, right? Boom, which is the square root knob. You press 26.8, you press your minus knob, you press 2.5, and then you're gonna press there's a knob with x to the power of y. I put all the different variations here. Some calculators have y to the power of x, and then some calculators have like a hack like this, right? Whichever one you have in your calculator, press that, and then you're gonna press 3. Then you press the A and B over C knob, and then you press 2, and then press equal. And what you getting there, Andrew? 4.7798, right? And this will be approximately equal to 2 decimal places. It would be 4.78, right? To 2 dp. Proper, right? 3 marks is in the... Now working these things there. So this here is 1.22. Somebody check over that now. Check it over. So 3 people say 1.22. So somebody just give me a check back there. Like, we got a few other people. Somebody said they're still getting 4 point. Let me check it, eh? So let's see. I would have posted on Facebook, and then I would have been having this wrong answer. Right? So this is 1.22. So again, 1.2240, blah 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 blah. But when you work it out, it will be approximately equal to 1.22. Please and thanks. Make that correction, please. And guys, if you get something different, please tell me, right? Tell me. Right? To move faster, I allow you all to work it and give me the answers, right? Children go to a rodeo camp during the Easter holiday. Miss Rika buys bananas and oranges for the children at the camp. Bananas cost $3.85 per kilogram. Miss Rika buys 25 kilograms of bananas and receives a discount of 12%, right? How much money does she spend on the bananas? Could we calculate how much the 25 kilograms cost before discount, right? So this will be cost proper. So this is cost before discount, right? So this will be what? 385 multiplied by 25. That's what you do, Kadeen?
Yeah.
So how much you get in here? How much it cost before the discount? 96 point, well, $96.25, right? And then this will be after discount would be you could just do 88%, right? Or 88 over 100 multiplied by 96.25, right? That will give you the cost after minus the 12%, right? So again, when you work out this will be 88 over 100 multiplied by 96.25. Where again? Just give me the final answer. What you all get there?
So how you get 88 to?
100 minus 12. Come in. 100 minus 12. $84 and
70 cents.
70 cents, right? Come here now. Don't pull long now. Right? $84 and right. Why I do 88? You can do what you did. You get the same thing, and right. So what you all did is you found 12% of 96.25 and then minus it. That's okay. Right? That's okay. And we get the same answer. All of us get the same answer. So let me roll. We move in. So Miss Reka spends $165 inclusive of tax of 15% on oranges. Calculate the original price, meaning the price before tax, right? So here what's going on here, right? 100% represents the cost before tax, right? How much tax it was? How much tax they added to it? 15. Right? So this will be 115% is what this is. Okay? This is 115%. So anytime you want to get back the cost before, it will be, so this will be the original. Let me put original cost. Alright? Original cost will be equal to the $165.31 divided by 115%. That will give you back your answer. Right? I can show you all the rational to it, right? 115% will be 115 over 100. Give me the answer again here. This will be 165.30 divided by 115 over 100. Where again?
100.
No.
143.7.
$143.75, right? Now, how this really works is like change the subject of the formula and is like 115% multiplied by some value x by some cost is gonna give you 165.31, right? Okay, 115% of a value x, which is the original cost, will be that. And then what's what you doing here, Andrew? You just kind of say and do what it is. Dividing it. That's what I did here. 165 divided by $165 and 31 cents divided by 115% will give you back your original cost, right? We cooking. The ratio of the number of bananas to the number of oranges is 2 to 3. Furthermore, there are 24 more oranges than bananas, right? How many more parts does oranges have? 1. You all seen that? Bananas is represented by 2 parts. Oranges is represented by 3. How many more parts does oranges have? It will be 1, right? So calculate the number of bananas Miss Rika bought. So what's something? 1 part, which is the 1 extra part. So I'll put more parts. Let me just put more parts would be 3 minus 2, the larger number minus the smaller number. So that 1 part would be equal to the 24 more oranges than bananas, right? So 1 part is equal to 24. So if I know what 1 part is, I could find what 2 parts are, which represents bananas, right? So bananas will be 2 multiplied by 24, which would be 48, right? Bananas. Everybody good there? Everybody understand how I get the 1 part? You have 2 parts to represent oranges. You have 3 parts to represent oranges. You have 2 parts to represent bananas, right? The oranges have 1 part more than bananas. That 1 part is the furthermore, there are 24 more oranges than banana. That 1 part represents this 24 oranges, right? Everybody good there? So, using our calculator, we on to January 2022, by the way. Using our calculator or otherwise, find the exact value of 8.9 plus 31.6 divided by 0.75 multiplied by 5.4. Work out the top, work out the bottom, right? Give me my answers for the top. What you get for the numerator? How much? 40.5 divided by the bottom.
4.05.
When you divide that way again, 10?
Yes, sir, 10.
Right, don't know. Let me go. Next one. So straight off your calculator, some things you have to make sure on your calculator here, right? You have to make sure that your calculator is on degrees. Yeah, go ahead, bro. You have to make sure your calculator is on degrees. So you make sure above your calculator you see a DEG, or on some calculators you'll see a D, right? If it is not on degrees, you'll get the wrong answer here. So 3.9 multiplied by tan 18 will give me what? So 1 decimal place. Give me the answer one time.
1.3, sir.
1.3 flat? Right. 1.3 to 1 decimal place. All right. So Ria is paid at a rate of $13.50 per hour during a certain week. Right. Sorry. During a certain week, she worked 40 hours. How much did she earn for that week? Right. So this is the weekly wage. Right, so her weekly wage will be $13.50 multiplied by 40. How much you getting here?
540.
540. Everybody good there? Right. Now, Ria worked 4 weeks in the month of August. 4 weeks. Her gross earnings was $24.6375. Her regular week comprised of 40 hours, and overtime was paid at 1.5 times her hourly rate. Right? 1.5 times her hourly rate. Did they give us her hourly rate up here? Right, good. So show that Ria worked for 15 hours overtime in August. What is the first thing we need to calculate here? Let me hear you. What's the first thing we calculated? Right, you can do that. So we can work out an overtime hourly rate. No problem. Andrew said to work out this first, right? So 1.5 times 13.50 would tell me how much she's working for per hour in overtime. How much is she working for? 20.25. Somebody second this.
Yeah.
Right? Overtime hourly rate, right? What we working out next? I will now work this first, eh?
Making a regular week.
Proper. That's why I would I work first. How much she making in 1 week, right? So I'll multiply because it's 4 months in August, right? So I'll work out her regular weekly wage. No, regular wage for the month. This is for the month, which is 4 weeks, right? So regular wage for August, right? That will be is 4 weeks they said in August. How much is she making per week? How much big girl making per week?
2,000. Oh,
No, how much she making per week?
540.
540 per week, right? It's 4 weeks. So how much did she make for August in regular wage?
2,160.
Right? Proper. So we have her regular wage. We have her overtime wage too. That was given in the question. Her OT wage, not OT, her gross wage, which means that gross includes overtime, right? So this is her gross wage. I just writing the information here, right? Gross wage for August. That will be 24 Kareem.
Yeah.
Let me go, sister. That's not his exam. 24.63.75, right? That's how much she make in gross wage. Gross wage includes overtime wage, right? So what we do next? Let me hear you. What do we do next here? Anybody? Come on, speak up. What we do next?
So minus the 2,160 from the gross wage.
Minus the 2,160 from the gross wage, which will actually give me my overtime wage. That's my overtime wage for August. When I minus the 2, I will get my OT wage, right? So that'll be 2463.75 minus 2160. How much sister make in overtime for that month?
370%.
300 and how much?
3.
Right. That's her OT wage for the month. But the question did not ask for her OT wage. They want to know, they want us to show that she worked 15 hours overtime. So how would I calculate how much hours is in this $303? Well, how much hours I had to work to make that $303.75? So, Mayolia, how I calculate it now?
Divide by 20.25.
Proper. You're working back. So in other words, if I divide 20.25 into that, which is what I'm making per hour for 1 hour, I'll find out how much hours I worked for, right? So this will be a OT hours for August, right? That will be equal to 303.75 divided by 20.25. How much OT again? 15 flat?
15 hours.
15 hours. Talk done. Boom bang. Right? Proper. In August, 20% of Ria's gross earning was deducted as tax. How much money does she have left after the deduction, right? So if you deduct 20, could I just do 80%? Right? You deduct 20%, right? So 80% of how much was her gross earnings? 2,000 something. $2,463 and so 80% of this, which is simply 80 over 100 multiplied by 2463.75 will give me how much? 1970 how much? 1 flat? Right? This is what how much money does she have left after deduction? So this is money after deduction. All right, that's what this is equal to. So let's roll. Ria invests 219 of her earnings for 3 years at a rate of 4.5 per annum simple interest. How much interest does she receive after 3 years? They said interest, right? So it's simple interest. So you're simply belting out a simple interest formula. Simple interest is equal to principal by rate by time over 100. So your principal is how much you invest, multiplied by your rate is the percent, multiplied by time, which is 3 years, all over 100. What we getting here? What we getting? Come on.
$29.57.
Say that again, Thomas.
$29.57.
Somebody had a second listener. Right, so let me go. Using a, or let's see what Mr. CXC puts here. Using a calculator or otherwise, right? So straight calculator. But here this, I seen 2 marks here. You know what we'll do? Let me give CXC, you're dividing first, right? Tell me what you get when you divide these two things here first. 33 over 14. Anybody get 33 over 14 minus 1 and 5 over 7? Somebody second that. 33 over 14. We given CXC is 2 marks, right? So we giving them a working. Anybody else get that? So let's minus now. When you minus it, what again? 9 over proper. Let me go. Next part. Right, but it's 2 marks. So let's do our working. When you see 2 marks, do our working. Right? If it have a bracket first, do the brackets first, right? If it have, yeah, no problem. If you have division first, do division first. If you have multiplication first, do multiplication first, right? So there you go. Huh? Yeah, if it's 2 marks, yeah. Yeah. Say that. Let me go. These are things that teachers doesn't tell students, especially for questions like those. When Megan started working, she was paid 85 each week. After a 6-month probationary period, her pay was increased by 20%. How much was she paid each week after the increase? So they just want to know what she's paid, right? So the increase would be, so this is pay after increase, right? Increase. So if it goes up by 20%, could I do 120%, which will be 120 over 100 multiplied by the 85? This will give me the straight answer. Or you could do 20% of 85 and then add it. It doesn't matter, right? 120% of 85 will be what? 102. Talk done. Question done. 120. They said it went up by 20%, right? So it will be 100, which is the 100%, plus this is the 100% here, all right? So it'll be 100% plus 20%. How much it increased by? If it decreased by 20, I would have put 80%, right? 80% of that amount, okay? So that is where I got the 120% from. Boom, bang. In 1965, the population of a country A was 2,714,000, right? In 2025, it was increased to this, right? The population was this, okay? So we have 2 population amounts that we're working with here. Now, they said write the population in 2015 correct to 3 significant figures, right? 2015 will be this. So I write in what they gave us above. So which number here, which digit represents the 3rd significant figure? Let me hear you. The second 6, right? This is the 3rd significant figure, right? Now, what is the number after that 3rd significant figure? 3. So are we adding 1 to this? No, it's not 5 or greater. So this will be equal to, you put the 366, everything after the lockoff changes to 0. So you're putting 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We don't really put commas again. Everybody good there? And this will be to 3 significant figures, right? Next one, write the population in 1965 to 7. Hey, what am there, buddy? Back. All right, so 2714. Let me erase this. 2714000 in standard form, right? Where's my decimal point understood to be here? Where's it? At the back.
By 0, sir.
Right. So we
Yeah.
want to get it to the right of the first significant figure, right? So we go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Proper. So this will become 2.714 multiplied by 10 to the power of how many times did I move my point? 6. Everybody good there? Because you're moving to the left, it is a positive power. Everybody good there? Last one here. Determine the percentage increase of the population from 1965 to 2015. Now, what would be the increase? The increase would be, it was 366 what? 9 something. 00. No, do not have a 3 somewhere again?
366.
Yes, 3663.
900.
900. No, 900. All right. 3663 900 minus how much it was in 1965? 14000. Look at right above here, right? When we minus it, what we get? 949900. Somebody second this. Yeah? Right. So that is how much it increased by. So if I want the percentage increase, right? My percentage increase would be the amount it increased by. This is increase. 949900 divided by the initial amount. Initial means the amount at the start, which is 1965. 1965 was 2714000 multiplied by 100 because it's a percent you're trying to find. How much percent did this go up by? 35 flat. 35%. Right? The ratio of teachers to male students to female students in the school is 3 to 17 to 18. If the total number of students in the school is 630, right? That's all they give us, the students. Determine the number of teachers in the school. So, they said the number of students, The number of students is 630. How many parts represent the number of students? Number of students, right? How did you find that? 17, which represents the male students, plus 18, which represents the female students, right? So number of students is represented by 35 parts. Everybody good there? Now, 35 parts, therefore 35 parts would be equal to how much? How much students do we have in the school? 630, right? So if 35 parts is equal to 630, how much one part would be, my children? One part. How much you get? 15 or 18?
18.
Right, so this will be 18 students would be represented by one part, right? Now, I need to find out how much teachers, right? So therefore, teachers, right? 18 students is wrong to put here. 18 represents one part, right? So one, well, yeah, the number of teachers in need here would be 3 teachers, right? Well, 3 parts represent teachers. So teachers will be equal to 3 represented by how much represents one part? So 3 multiplied by 18 will give me what?
54.
54 teachers, right? Everybody good there? Okay? Have some way. Right, so we on to January 2021, right? Using a calculator or otherwise calculate the exact value of this, right? Now this is a 2-mark question again. So let me give them something now. Work out these two first. It's just addition and subtraction straight. Yeah, that's moving from left to right. So 1 and 4/7 plus 2 over 3 is what? 7 over 21. 47 over 21. That correct? Right. 47 over 21 minus 1 and 5 over 6 will give me what? 17 over 42. Somebody second that. Online, you all get that?
Yes, sir.
Right, proper.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Kadeem, you need to... No, but Kadeem, you need to personalize yourself to a calculator, right? So, organize. Yeah. Now, the cube root, for this one, the cube root of 27, right, is a number multiplied by itself 3 times to give me 27, right? That number would actually be 3. So 3 divided by 9 squared. 9 squared is what? 81. Right? So this could be broken down to be what? 1 over 27. Okay? For those who not sure, the cube root of 27 will be a number. Once it's multiplied by itself 3 times, you will get 27, right? So that number would be 3. Just like the square root of 64 is 8. 8 multiplied by 8 would give you 64.
So what is that? That gave me 2 over 9.
3 over 9?
They just had a
Right, so the thickness of one sheet of cardboard is given by 485 multiplied by 10 to the negative 2 power, right? A construction worker uses 75 of those sheets of cardboard stacked together to insulate a wall. Show that the exact thickness of the insulation is 363 multiplied, well, not multiplied, 363.75 millimeters, right? So this will be the thickness, right? What is the thickness of one sheet? It would be 485 multiplied by 10 to the negative 2 power. Everybody agrees? And if it is 75 sheets, how much are you multiplying this by?
75.
So when you punch this in on your calculator, to get the negative 2 power on your calculator, you're gonna press your power knob, which is a hack on some calculator. It is x to the y power on some calculators. It is y to the x on some calculators. Press that and then press negative, which will be the plus or minus knob, and then 2. Press that. Wait again.
beyond
Sir?
Yeah.
Right, so this now would be equal to 363.75 millimeters. A little box to indicate that it was shown. Write the thickness of the insulation, which is this, to 2 significant figures. Which number there represents the second significant figure? The 6 proper, right? Is the number after the 6 greater than or equal to 5? No. So this will be equal to, well, approximately equal to 36. Everything after the lockoff changes to 0. So 360.00, which you don't need to put in, right? This is the thickness of the insulation to 2 significant figures, right? So let me put 2 significant figures, right? This is millimeters. Everybody good there? So the same thing above there to 1 decimal place. Somebody was asking a question? Right. So the same 363.75 to 1 decimal place. Which number here represents the first decimal place?
7.
Is the number after that 75 or greater? So we add 1. So this should be 363.8 millimeters to 1 decimal place. Everybody good there? Cool? Son. So the same thing in standard form, 363.75 in standard form. Where we want to get this decimal point? Where? To the right of the first significant figure. Say moving it 1, 2. So this will become 3.6375 multiplied by 10 to the power of what? Negative 2?
2.
Positive 2. Because you're going to the left, it's a positive power of 10, right? The power would be positive. Marco is on vacation in the Caribbean. He changes 4,500 Mexican pesos to Eastern Caribbean dollars. He receives 630 ECD, right? Complete the statement below about the exchange rate, right? So 1 ECD is equal to how many Mexican pesos, right? So it's basically, if it's 1 ECD to Mexican pesos, is going to be like 630 multiplied by some number, which will be the exchange rate, is equal to 4,500 Mexican pesos. How would I find out what this X value is here, your exchange rate? What do I do?
Divide.
Changing subject at the formula. 4,500 divided by 630 will give me what?
$6.92.
I hear $6.92. I hear 7.14 here. What again?
I get 1.14.
Check. Check over that hat. Check
Oh,
over
wait,
that.
Dad, use 650. That's what I might say.
Oh, proper. So we are on to January 2020. Right? So let me go. Using a calculator or otherwise calculate the exact value of the following. 2 marks. So let me do a little working. Right? So when you work out these two, what you getting? 7 over 5 minus 1 1/4. 7 over 5 minus 1 1/4 gives me how much? 3 over 20. Right? That done, eh? Let me go to the next one. So what I want you all to do here is calculate the numerator, right? And give me the answer there. Whatever you get, we'll divide it by 0.005. Where you get for the numerator? 2.5375. And I like how you leave everything. Like work it out and then we go. If we have to do any approximating, we'll do it at the end, right? What's the answer here now?
Is it 308.4?
Nah.
I get
50.775.
This way again?
507. So this is
507 is in here. Check over that, guys. 507 point. No, I put them brackets. 507 point what? Right, 507.5. Online. A stadium currently has seating capacity of 15,400 seats, right? Calculate the number of people in the stadium when 75% of the seats are occupied, right? So number of people would be equal to 75%. It should be 75 over 100 multiplied by 15,400. How many seats are occupied?
11,550.
Oh, 550. So that was 500. Well, but everybody bright to know, boys. That's people lazy. Right? Seats. What's bright? If we were to define bright, what's bright? Let me go. The stadium is to be renovated with a new seating capacity of this, right? So that means what? My seating capacity went up or down? Up. So it's an increase in seating capacity. After the renovation, what will be the percentage increase in the number of seats? So let's find the increase first, right? Then we will find the percentage increase. So this will be 20790 minus how much?
15,400.
Boom. How much seats did it go up by?
5,359.
And 59?
I get 90.
Yeah.
Nah.
So I got 5,390.
Yeah, 90 seats, right? Okay, so therefore the percentage increase now, it will be the 5,360 over which amount? The original amount. Lock that in there, guys. What was the original amount of seating? Multiply by 100. How much is the percentage increase? 35%. Again, you just get that far. Next question. So a neon light flashes 5 times every 10 seconds. So here what's going on. I want to find out how many 10-second intervals I could get in one day, because it said to show that the light flashes 43,200 times in one day. So I want to find out how many 10-second intervals I could get in one day, which means that I find out how much seconds we have in a full day. When I find out how many 10-second intervals I can get, I multiply it by 5. So let's first find how many seconds in one day. Right? How many seconds in one day? Build it up. Start from 60 seconds in 1 minute, right? How many minutes in 1 hour? 60. How many hours in 1 day?
24.
So when we multiply this, how much seconds in 1 day? 86,400. Right. That is seconds. How many 10-second intervals can I get from this?
8,640.
So 10-second intervals. Right? You're getting it? So 86,000 divided by 10, right? 8640 intervals, right? And it's flashing 5 times every 10 seconds, right? So therefore, flashes per day (8640) multiplied by 5, and how much again? The same thing above, right? So this will be equal to 43,200 times. Okay, boom. Yeah, shown. Ooh. File box to indicate that it was shown. Proper thing.
So it could rectify an answer like the line provided.
Nah, that's SCA. CXC again, yeah, Mark. Yeah. You could press something good to practice, just in case the examiner looking for it and he can't find it, at least they could go to the line.
อันที่จากเซอร์มีนักเจอก่อนนะครับ
So how much marks this question was?
2.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why that's some working. Right, let me go. Last question for the day. We have 15 minutes. June 2019. Once again, all you must check. Let me put any group by the meanwhile while all doing this. I'm gonna put we have class tonight for 8, eh? No, wicked. All it's supposed to be saying thanks, boy.
So 8 to what time?
We'll go till about 10. I don't wanna jump. I don't wanna jump one line for no 30 minutes. So here we'll do. We'll finish 2019 Jan, 2018 June, and then we'll start back with Jan 26 and do number 2s, right? That's the algebras. Okay, I won't go later than 10. You know, I should ask my wife if we go to church. See, more people going, shh. I pull it next to each other and all they're talking. Yeah, well, talk so fast. Right? Well, softer. Softer. You see what I'm talking about? Let's confirm I'm going to church. If I ain't going to church, we going earlier. Might be earlier than that. I finish and I have Form 1s and 2s from 3 to 5. I just need a little half an hour break. 5:30 to 7:30. Me, at what time all the classes? Hello?
7.
Hold on, 7 o'clock, me,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, they're going to church tonight? Oh, I didn't see the message. All right, cool. Okay, bye. Now, I just want to confirm now, because I missed them say, so I just want to confirm with them one time. So I'll do class with them 8 to 10 tonight. Okay, bye. Yeah, we're going to church. The boss say we're going to church.
So if I have class up until like 9 o'clock, I could just join for like an hour.
All right, yeah, no problem. As all done come through. But I coming on for 8, guys. 8 o'clock. All come online later. Please. Hey, let's do this now. I think we could do this one and then we could run through. Let me go. What you get when you work out the top?
13 over 20.
13 over 20 divided by 3, which will give me
13 over 60.
talk done. Next. We doing this here to two decimal places. So here, man, you must make sure that the calculator is on degrees. When you work it out, what do you get? Just give me the final answer. 2.07 to 2 decimal places. Proper. Come, let me go. This year it had algebra in question 1. I remember this year. Irma's take-home pay is 4,320 per fortnight, right? Fortnight is every 2 weeks, right? Each fortnight, Irma's pay is allocated according to the following table. So you have rent is X, food is this, other living expenses 2X, savings is 1750. Your total, when you add up all these bad boys, you would get 4320. What is Irma's annual take-home pay? Assume she works 52 weeks in any given year, right? So Irma's annual means what? Right, annual P would be equal to 4320 multiplied by how many fortnights? She getting that per fortnight, eh? How many fortnights do we have in a year? They gave you to the question there, right? 52 weeks. That would be how much
26
fortnights?
fortnights.
Right, so it'll be 52 divided by 2. Okay, 26 fortnights. So how much does the work out to be? How much big you getting?
112,320.
Somebody second this.
Oh.
Yes, the second.
Right. 112,320, right?
Yep.
Determine the amount of money Irma allocates for rent each month, right? So this here is the allocation for every 2 weeks, which is per fortnight, right? So if I want to find out for each month, it will be whatever I find X to be multiplied by 2, right? Assuming that it have only 4 weeks in a month, right? So we're going to calculate the allocation for rent each month. So we starting with, could we form an equation here that can be used to find X? What's the equation we could form using this table? Let me hear you. X plus 629 plus 2X plus, right, is equal to, right on that. Sure, you can tell me if I go down. Right, so it would be, so I'm going to form an equation now which can be used, right? So it's X plus, I remember, 629 plus 2X plus is equal to, right, so this will be how much X? 3X plus, let me fling these things here one time now. Okay, so 3X would be equal to, I would just write out everything as is and then we'll just minus it, right? So this will be equal to 4320 minus 1750 minus 629. 3X would be equal to what? 1941. X would be equal to what we do with the 3 and we carry there? Divided by 3. 640. Right? That is how much she allocates per fortnight. Because this they said here is her allocation per fortnight. So we allocate 629 per fortnight for rent. But it's 2 fortnights in a month. Okay? So therefore, monthly rent, I could put monthly rent would be equal to 647 multiplied by 2, which will give me how much? $1294. Boom. So all of Irma's saving is used to pay her son's university tuition, right? Which is $150,000, right? If Irma's pay remains the same and she saves the same amount each month, what is the minimum number of years that she must work in order to save enough money to cover her son's tuition? So what we basically go and work out here, let me work out her savings to the year. That's what we're going to work out, right? We work out the savings to the year, we dividing it into 150,000, and we'll find out how long we had to save to make up that money, right? So let's find her savings for 1 year. Before I even watch on top, I would know that I'm multiplying by 52 over, 52 divided by 2. Well, over 2 divided by 2, same thing, right? Everybody good there? Why is it 52 divided by 2? 52 weeks in a year, and she's saving money every how much weeks? Every fortnight. It's 52 or 56? 52. Right? So what y'all going on here? How much big deal saving? Saving 1750, right? So it'll be 26 with what this will work out to be multiplied by 1750. How much money is Big Girl saving for the year? 45,000.
500.
45,500. Right.
Yeah.
For the year, right? How much years? So number of years for tuition, right? To make up tuition. Right? So that will be, I'm trying to see how much groups of 45,500 I can get in 150,000, right? How much that working out to be by how much years?
Approximately 12.
You get a decimal?
Yeah.
Where again?
3.29.
So 3.29. So they asked us how much years. That's all. Let me watch this thing good, right? What is the minimum number of years she must save for? If she saved for 3 years, would she make up the money?
No. 4 years.
Right? So the minimum, so what is working out to? This working out to be what? This working out to be 3.1?
29.
296. So let me say 3.3, right? So I'll put underneath here now, if she saves for 3 years, she would not make up enough money. Right? So therefore, or not therefore, let me just put we just put in, now we'll put therefore, right? I just want to put this therefore years, or I could put minimum years would be approximately 4 years, right? Because if Big Girl saves for 3 years, she ain't make up enough money. She's 4 years, minimum amount of 4 years. So we on to January 2019, number 1, right? So they are saying to evaluate 3.8 multiplied by 10 squared plus 1.7. Hold on, that's people coming in. Hold on. So give your answer in standard form, right? So you could either do 2 things here. The first thing you could do is you could work out these separately, okay? So I want you all to work out these separately and tell me what you get in. 3.8 multiplied by 10 squared will give me what? What do you all get in? Now this is our vocal class, it's late. I can't be talking to myself, right? So let's go. 3.8 multiplied by 10 squared gives me what?
380.
380, right? So that's right about this. Right, so you're getting 380 plus 1.7 multiplied by 1700. And when you add the 2, what are you getting? Where again when you add these 2?
2080.
2080, right? Now, if you leave your question like this, you'll get 1 mark. You would not get your full mark. They asked you to give your answer in standard form. Where's my decimal point understood to be in this question?
By the second zero.
Right, at the back. You can see at the back, right? So we move in. We want to get this decimal point to the right of the first significant figure, right? So our new point would be located right here. Okay? Boom. This is where the new point comes in. So this will be equal to 2.08. You can put the next 0 or you don't need to, but once it's at the back and it's in your decimal form, you don't need to put those zeros, right? Multiply by 10 to the power of how many times did I move my point?
3.
3. Proper. All right?
Sure.
So this here would be my answer in standard form. Let's roll to the next one time. So 2 marks. Work out my numerator here for me, please. What did you get when you work out my numerator? 3 over 10?
3 over 10.
3 over 10 divided by 3.5 And when we work out this, what's our next answer? Well, our final answer.
And 1/20.
1 and 1/20. Somebody confirm this. Yesterday we did a question where they asked us to write a number. They wanted to show that the value of 3 in a binary number, something that was a base, well, some base number, sorry, was well, what is the difference? They wanted the difference. I was trying to remember the question. They wanted the difference in the two numbers, right? Now, if I want to change something from a base to a base, well, wherever base it is, that the binary number, which is base 10, you do the expanded notation format, right? But this year they want to change a number to another base. So this here is actually 6 to base 10. Base 10 is understood here, right? They want you to change it to binary. A binary number is actually base 10. Not base 10, sorry, base 2. Okay, base 2. Cool? Now, if I want to change any number that is in base 10 to base 2, you divide, right? So let me show you all the action here. So you're going to do 2, which is the base, into 6. 2 into 6 would give me what? How many times 2 could go into 6? 3. And you need to put what the remainder is. If it's a remainder of 0, you put a remainder of 0. Right? Then you use the 2 again. Okay? 2 could go into 3 how many times? 1 with a remainder of 1. Right? Then can 2 go into 1? No. And you will have the remainder of the 1 that is here. Cool? Now this remainder, reading it from bottom to top, would be my binary number. So this binary number is like basically 6 is equal to 110 in base 2.
Dog food.
Dog food. It's dog food now, but if you go to an exam, that could mash you up, eh? If I give you another number, like say I give you say 38, and I ask you to write this in base 4, this is all you do, right? So 38 in base 4. I'll show you all our next one here, right? Just in case this comes for exams. So to write 38 in base 4, 38 is a base 10 number, right? So you do the same thing, you're dividing. But what number you think you're dividing by? If it's base 4, you want to put it in. Let me hear you all. Educated guess.
So the 14th?
4. If you want to write it in base 4, you're dividing by 4. If you wanted to write a number in base 2, you're dividing by 2. So how many times could 4 go into 38?
9. I mean, 2.
9 times remainder 2. Proper. Right? How many times can 4 go into 9?
2 remainder 1.
2 remainder 1. Can 4 go into 2? No. Right? And you'll have a remainder of how much? 4 into 2 is 0. Remainder?
2.
2. So my base 4 number will be this number reading from bottom to top. So 38 would be equal to 212 in base 4. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is to change a number from a base 10 to whatever base. If it was base 8, what do you think you're dividing this 4 by? Well, sorry, what do you think you're dividing by instead of 4?
8.
8. If it's base 5, what do you think you're dividing by instead of the 4 and the 2?
5.
5. Wherever base you want to go in, this is what you do. Just remember you're reading from bottom to top. Right? That's how easy base is. It has nothing else to know in bases. Number bases, right? So 2 marks are given only 1 minute here. Go. And those who want to copy down the top there could copy it down, right? So this was wrong. Right? This was wrong. Wrong. Right? 3 over 10 divided by 3.5 is equal to 3 over 35, right? Okay? 3 over 35, not 1 and 1 over 20. So John bought a car for 65,000, right? If the value of the car depreciates by 8% each year, how much will the car be worth at the end of 2 years, right? Now, if your vehicle is depreciating, the thing about depreciation or appreciation, you have to do it by the year, okay? So if your vehicle go up by 8% each goes down, it's depreciate. Depreciate means it goes down. So 8 over 100, which is 8% of 65,000 would be how much it went down by for year one. What would be the depreciation value for year one?
$5,200.
5,200.
$200.
Somebody second answer this, please. Okay? So that is how much it went down by for the first year. So this is like the value of the vehicle after year one. What would be the value of the vehicle after year one? Let me hear you all. What we have to do? It went down by 5,200. What do we have to do? Let me hear you all.
Take away.
Take away. So there'll be 65,000. Take away the 5,200. How much is the vehicle worth at the end of year one?
59,800.
59,800. Somebody second, third, fourth, and fifth that.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we going. So this is like a depreciation for year one. Depreciation for year one. Right. That's this. Now you have a depreciation for year two. Right. So depreciation for year two would be equal to 8 over 100 multiplied by which value? Let me see who knows. Which value is finding 8% of?
We have to take away the depreciation.
The new value. The value of the vehicle. The value that it was at the end of the first year. So this will be 59,800. How much is my vehicle going down by in year two?
4,784.
Somebody second, third, and fourth this, please. Preston second, third and fourth.
Yes, sir, that's correct, sir.
Right. Come on, Leo. Get on them calculators there, right? So they wanted the value of the vehicle, or how much is the vehicle worth value after 2 years, or year two. I can put after year two here. After the end of 2 years would be equal to, what am I minusing? Let me hear you all now. What am I minusing now?
59,800. Take away the new depreciation.
Proper, right? So every time you calculate a new value, and then you have to minus the depreciation for the new year, you're minusing it from the new value, not the initial value, not the value at the start, right? So this will be equal to, what's the value of my vehicle at the end of year two?
$55,016.
That's sir.
Third and fourth.
To that.
Nice.
Oh, that's it.
Nice. Come on, doctor. Right. So the table below shows the results obtained by a student in her CSEC mathematics examination. The maximum mark for each paper is given in the third column of the table, right? So, third column of the table is the maximum mark you could get for the paper. This is the percentage, right? So it's basically like 55 over 100 by 55% by something is equal. No, that's it. 55% of 30, yeah. 55% of 30 over 1 will be how much the child gets in paper 1. 60% of 50 will be what the child gets in paper 2. 80% of 20 will be what the child gets in paper 3, right? Determine as a percentage the student's final mark for the examination. So this is what I just said we had to do. We had to work out each one. So 55 over 100, this is P1, right? Right, what is this?
16.5.
16.5.
Second, third, and fourth that, please.
Yes, sir.
Right, there we go. 60% of...
60. You get it.
How much again here?
30.
Second, third, and fourth that.
Yes, sir.
Right, so there you go, P3. Paper 3 would be 80% of 20. How much is?
16.
16.
16. So when you add up all these bad boys, how much you getting?
62.5.
And this will be out of 100. So this is basically 62.5%. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Proper. So, June 2018, number 1. Using a calculator or otherwise, evaluate each of the following, giving your answer to 2 decimal places, right? So, 1 mark. So, give me a straight answer to 2 decimal places. Give me to 2 decimal places one time.
634.65.
Somebody second, third, and fourth this.
Yeah, all right.
Everybody got this, right? Let me hear some more voices, please. Did we get this?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me go. Same 1 mark here, right? So let's give me a straight answer. What you're doing, you're using your brackets here, right? Open bracket, 3.1 squared divided by 6.17, close your bracket, plus 1.12, press equal. Tell me what you're getting.
I got 2.68.
To 2 decimal places, right?
To put
Right? To 2 decimal places. Right? To 2 decimal places, right? Somebody 6 second, third, and fourth this, please.
Second.
Right. So let me go.
still.
Go ahead.
Gonna pray me too.
That's right. I hope you pray first. Lord, and all let's stay quiet. Or they get 24.33 and all let's stay quiet. Right? Because of this question, you have to multiply. I hope the people who give me this didn't go and put 7.18 minus 5.23 and then press equal and then multiply by 9.34 because you will get a off answer. Okay? If you put everything on the calculator as one, you will get the correct thing. What you all got there?
24.33.
Listen, if you all get a different answer moving forward, let me know, please. I don't want to go and pull no calculator and calculate nothing here. Right? That's wasting time. Just tell me the answer. We can move faster. Right? Jenny works at Sammy's restaurant, right? And is paid according to the rates in the following table below. So yeah, your basic wage is 600 plus 90 cents for each customer served, right? So in a week, when Jenny serves N customers, N, her weekly wage, WJ. Now this WJ just means Jenny's wage, right? In dollars is given by this formula, right? It's 600, which is the basic wage, plus the 90 cent multiplied by the number of customers she served, which is represented by N, right? So just what they have written above here, they just put it into an equation. Determine Jenny's weekly wage if she served 230 customers. So Jenny's wage, which is just WG, Jenny's wage is equal to 600 plus 0.90 multiplied by what is N?
230.
Proper, right? N is 230 because N is the amount of customers she served. So what is Jenny's wage?
807.
Somebody second, third, and fourth this phenomenon. And if you get something different, open your mouth now, please. Did anybody get anything different? That was should be asking. Did you get something different? No. Right, let me roll. So in a good week, Jenny's wage is 1,000 or more. What is the least number of customers that Jenny must serve in order to have a good week, right? A good week is 1,000 or more. So we're looking for the least number of customers so we can work with the 1,000. So what we're going to do here? Let me hear you all.
Take away the 1,000 from the 807.
To find out what's the least number of customers. You sure, bro?
Sir, we take away the 1,000 from the 600.
In other words, we could form an equation. What did they say? They said Jenny's wage is 1,000. So this is the equation that represents Jenny's wage. And then they came and said that Jenny's wage is equal to 1,000 or more. So we work with the least number she could get, right? We work with the 1,000. So can we form an equation where these up in the air things coming from? Let's just form an equation, right? This could be, I could say, therefore, 1,000, which is Jenny's wage, is equal to 600 plus 0.90 by N, right? N is the unknown, changing the subject of the formula. What are we moving first? What are we moving first?
600.
Proper. We move the 600 here first. When we move the 600 here, this is plus. What do we do with it on the right? On the left, sorry.
Make it negative.
Minus 600 is equal to 0.90 n, right? What do we do next in order to find n? What do we do next?
Take away. You take away the 600.
Right, well, we're taking away this.
1000 minus 600 divided by 0.90.
Right, you're carrying 0.90 on this side one time, right? So this would be 400 divided by 0.9. Now 0.90 is at 0.9, but I'm gonna put the 0, that's what CXC power above, right? So what would be n? How much customers she working with here?
444.
445, sir.
445?
No, 44. It'll be 44.
44.
If it's 44, they wouldn't make, they'd make just under the 400.
Yeah. It's 44 point something.
Yes.
It's 44.44. It was 4 recurring.
Right. So here what's going on. In order for her to make $1,000, we can't have 0.4 of a person. So in order to be, let me put it 44. So it'll be 44.44 is equal to n, right? So I will put therefore she serves n would be equal to, not approximately equal to, it'll be equal to 45 customers she must serve in order to hit that 1,000. Go ahead. It's 444. Yeah, correct. Well, I get 44. 444.44, right? That's all I get, right?
Yep.
Right. So there'll be 445 customers she must serve, right? So I'll put customers. Ooh, I know that up.
So
Go ahead.
if it's 1,000 or more, right?
Right.
And so it could be
So at the same restaurant, Shauna is paid a weekly wage of 270 plus 150 for each customer she serves, right? So I could actually form a new formula here. So the wage of Shauna would be 270 plus 150 by her customers would be N. Or what did they say here? M, right. They said if Shauna is, well, weekly wage in dollars, write a formula calculating Shauna's weekly wage when she serves M customers. Very good. So this will be M. I didn't need to use that now because that's my next school. So that's all. 1 mark there. 1 mark in the bag, right? In a certain week, Jenny and Shauna received the same wage for serving the same number of customers, right? How many customers did each serve, right? So if it's the same wage they get, I can equate both of their formulas. I can say 600 plus 0.90n, or they also said the same number of customers, so that means n is equal to m, right? So this will be equal to what was 270 plus 150, and I don't need to put m here, I can put n because it's the same number of customers. So it's either I use 2 m's or I use 2 n's, right? So we need to find how many customers that each serve. We need to just find n, right? So what we bring in? I want to bring this 270 here, and we could carry this 0.90 here. So my next line would look like 600 what?
Take away.
Take away 270 is equal to 1.50 n. Take away 0.90 n. 600 minus 270, hit me. Wow. How much again? 330 is equal to next.
0.6.
Yeah, 0.6.
N. What do we do next if we want to find n?
Bring across the, yeah,
And what we do with it there?
dividing it. Dividing.
What would n be? Therefore, n is equal to
550.
550 customers, right? Proper.